Well, welcome back to my studio to Weekend in Review. So we have a new camera coming today, which I'm very excited about. So doing these sorts of things will be a lot easier. I feel like I'm not very good in front of the camera, so I won't spend much time here. But I did a lot of paintings this last couple of weekends, but we were also pretty sick, so I want to show you the paintings. I wasn't able to do some of the reviews this last week, and I'm sorry, I apologize for that, but now I think we can get caught up and check out some of these paintings down here. So let me flip the camera around and I'll show you what I did last week, and then also we'll show you what I did last night, which is interesting over there on the workbench. So I did record this 8 minutes worth before, and the phone didn't have capacity for it all, and so it didn't record it. So this is attempt number 2 to record all of this. But I like to talk about the weekend paintings. I don't always film them, and I get to just paint, throw some music on. Sunday night is usually my favorite time. This was from a couple of weekends ago. I haven't posted a lot of the weekend review stuff yet because we've been everybody's been sick, the holidays, so forth and so on. And we ordered a new camera. It should be here today, but I didn't want to wait to show you what I did this weekend, and I guess actually last weekend. So this last weekend, I did some of this stuff. Kristen said it was okay, my dear wife, but frankly, it's a little bit too much like my older work. And it's mixed with some of the newer too, so there's just a little slight cartoony kind of look to it, like Koons or not Rauschenberg, is it? I don't know. Anyway, so it's Monday, by the way, and I'm supposed to be at the library with my toddler, but he slept in the first time I recorded. They hadn't even really gotten going yet, and he's refused to go, and it's just as well because there's a nasty stomach flu running around town. So I'm gonna go up and watch him so my wife can get some nice, valuable work time in the office. So this is an 8x10 from that same series. Like I said before, I work in a series. I'll set up 3-4 different painting canvases and sizes, or work, a bunch of the same size and carry a concept or a color palette through it. Now this one from that same period, you can see here's an underpainting here, and last night and yesterday's painting extravaganza, I repainted over it. It's one of those little paintings and one of those times that my wife's like, yeah, that's terrible, repaint it. So I did, and this is an interesting concept, using the black to represent the water lilies, and the white for the ice, and just a hint of the blue for a representation of the water. So I think it's okay. It's different. And this is, again, one from previous weekend, real dark with the water lilies kind of showing up. I like my ponds and water features. I do build them at waterpaw.net, but at the same time, I'm very happy to be in my studio working. That's one of the pluses of winter, is I get to work in my studio. So this is the other one from that same period. A little darker feel to it. You get these two forms kind of leaning in on each other. It's that arch form I've used a couple of times now. There's some really interesting work in the background happening, but a little darker palette, a little more ominous feeling, or foggy. There's definitely a different kind of emotion evoked from that to something like this, or like this. So color palette choices, the muddiness of the color, those sorts of things can affect that mood as well as the form. So this was three weeks ago, I think we did that. And then 2 weekends ago, like I said, I did some work, and this is from that same period of those paintings that just showed you over on the workbench. And you can see that shell form coming back in, that spiral that's so common and very, very, very thick. Check this out, the profile of that paint. It's so wet. That could be a painting unto itself, or a photo of one. So it's drying. You can tell the difference, the sheen that's much drier here looking. This is clearly wet, so I can't even remotely touch that. and it's really cool looking. And I'll show you some of the stuff from last night's painting. And again, I want to show this corner because I'm going to reference that, I think. So the new camera hopefully will track better and give better resolution and so forth. So this is from last night. It's a beautiful day on the lake out there. Look at it. It's just nice. Middle of winter. 4 inches came down to snow yesterday. We went cross-country skiing like we usually do on Sunday. Came back, and then we get to work in the studio later at the night. So this one, again, we got the really, really heavy, thick. And you're probably wondering, or even if you're not, I'm going to tell you how I get this on my canvas. Look at that. Oh, the light just picked up big time. Big, bright, sunny. So my family got me some of these big containers of what's supposed to be heavy body acrylic, and it's actually a little bit thinner than what I usually use from a different company called Liquitex. But what I discovered is I could turn it upside down and I can use it like one of these little cake bottles and squirt out the paint and get this very sculptural feeling, plastic and a lot of three-dimensionality, and I really like what's happening with that. The other thing that's interesting here we have is that arch form showing up again, kind of this form here, and then we've got this reworked areas of the canvas, so scraping down the color, putting color back down, bringing layers up through the bottom. It creates more depth, I think. I've learned that from watching some of you on YouTube, and I really appreciate you sharing because it's reminded me of techniques I had forgotten about since I've just restarted after a hiatus of. So here's that corner again. For whatever reason, several of the paintings I've been doing have gotten this Jackson Pollock corner. It's just that corner. The rest of it, there might be some homage to some poured painting, drip painting. Definitely a lot of palette knife work, as you can tell. I poured some of this pigment in between there. I think it turned out really nice. It's still drying. This is all done last night. At night, with blues music going. One of my favorites on a Sunday evening. As usual, please feel free to contact, reach out, make some comments. Check me out at davidaustingallery.com. There's links to all of our social media stuff from Pinterest to Facebook and Instagram, YouTube. Of course, you're on YouTube right now. And then this one, which I told myself to stop. And one of the hardest things to do as an artist is to stop and not overwork a piece. I decided not to go in the direction I was with this one, even though they were both painted at the same time, same palette, very similar structure. But I just wanted to enjoy this palette scraping through the layers of color that were laid down. I really think there's some beautiful things happening here, and I just wanted to look at it, so I left it alone. You can still see there's a heavy buildup of some acrylics in there. The other thing I was doing is this kind of this light section, or this opening, if you will, and that we are feeling inspired lately, and there's like light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing going on. And I've been playing with that concept a lot lately. The problem is I can't quite get it right yet. So I'm still working on it. There was another one, an older painting where I was closer. I don't even know if I can find it right now. But I wanted to show you these and share with you for the weekend in review. I appreciate you coming and checking them out. And I hope to see you again soon. And hopefully next time I shoot a video will be with some higher end camera, and you'll have better sound quality and the whole bit. So thank you so much for coming and visiting my studio. Please subscribe, like, and share.